Is it wrong to have weight loss jabs just to look good? Get your calls in now, 0207 862 2222. It's thought that there are now more than 1.5 million people taking those medications in the UK alone. But an article in the Daily Mail today points out the side effects, and they can include all sorts of stuff. Muscle and bone loss, pancreatitis, hair loss, gut problems, tooth damage. Gosh, many obese people will have been prescribed these medicines by an NHS doctor to help them lose weight. But hundreds of thousands of people are thought to be buying private prescriptions of the jabs from online pharmacies because they wouldn't qualify as fat enough or overweight enough to get them on the NHS. Wonder if you think that's too risky. Maybe you think they're too widely or easily available. I'd love to know what you think about that, so do get in touch. I mean, I'll start with you, Jo. You've always been very slim. I don't know how difficult it is for you to stay slim.
Oh, I have to go to the gym. I have to eat properly. I'm a big organic girl and I love my food. So I think I'm happiest as I am. I'm personally, I don't want to do the jab because I just think we don't know the long-term effects. That to me. But I'm an organic girl, so I don't...
Every time you say that, people are thinking you're saying orgasmic, you know that. People are thinking, what is she talking about? Wow, lucky her.
Food is really important to what I eat. I never eat processed food, and I always...
And you've been doing this for years, right?
Yeah, for years and years. I grow my own vegetables. I'll go home tonight. I'll go into the vegetable garden, pick some lettuce and some bits and pieces and make dinner.
Right.
And for me, that's the healthiest way to eat. It's the way we're meant to eat.
And in fact, you've been doing this for so long, you look like a right crank when you started, didn't you? People were like, what is she talking about? Now people are finally climbing on board with you on this.
Just get back to nature and what God gave us and how it should be. I think it's really important. And I think maybe if we all taught how to eat better, we wouldn't be all jabbing.
Maybe even how to cook better. Sarah, what do you think?
Well, actually, I've been scrolling down my Instagram and I've had a lot of friends who are in their 50s and I'm like, wow, you're looking amazing. And they message me, do you want to know the secret? I said, what is it? They say Ozempic or Mounjaro. And I'm like, wow. And I kind of understand why it is they do it. Because if you've been struggling with your weight for so long, I'm a mother, and so many people are, and we have the baby weight to deal with and all that stuff, and you tried traditional weight loss and it's not working, I can see why people are turning to the jab. There's a lot of pressure on people to look a certain way. I think Sharon Osbourne once says, oh, everybody wants to be skinny, and, so many people have had it. Oprah, I'm like, wow, is this how she's got to this figure?
The answer is yes, and she's admitted it.
She's admitted it.
Having been the face of Weight Watchers for years.
I know.
Like, well, actually, that didn't work.
Yeah.
And I think Weight Watchers has pretty much hit the skids, hasn't it, because of that?
You don't hear about it anymore,
do you? Exactly. So she's now on the jabs, and she's looking sensational.
She is. And I think if it makes you happy, and I think weight loss, I think people do take the jab to make them happy, to look good. I think that's the primarily thing. People say, obviously, because of their health, which is very important as well. But I think it's okay to take the jab if you're going to exercise, if you're going to eat healthy.
Eat healthy, yes. That's
Let's
really
Darryl,
important.
Are you thinking about the jab? Are you aware of it as a kind of factor in people's lives now?
Do you know what? It's funny because it's never really been something that I've ever really considered until having a baby 8 months ago, and all of a sudden I can't find a time to work out.
I thought you were going to say you gained all this weight. Where are we going with this? This is very strange.
Maybe like sympathetic, in sympathy. Maybe I did because I'm carrying, and I do look at myself, and I look at myself on the TV now, and I sort of think, maybe I could. And actually,
stop it!
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I'm breathing in. I'm really breathing in.
No.
And actually, I think sometimes we can forget that is a clinical thing too. The way that you feel about yourself is a clinical thing. I had a really interesting conversation this weekend on my radio show with a guy who's written a book about the way that food manufacturers manipulate our biology to make us addicted to the food that they create.
I know all this.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
And you are so right about being as organic as you can,
Yeah.
going back to basics, going back to nature, because the stuff that is pumped into our food to make us eat more and more and more of it.
Yeah, it's
I agree with that
outrageous.
completely.
All right,
And
let's talk to
seed
someone who
oils.
really knows about this stuff, which is Dr. Philippa Kay, the legendary GP, who luckily can fit us in today. Dr. Philippa, so lovely to have you on the show. We've discussed these weight loss jabs endlessly. People are fascinated by them, absolutely fascinated. Some people are adamant they don't want to go anywhere near them. Some desperate to get their hands on them wherever they can find them. Talk to me about using them, even though you haven't got a huge BMI, you're not massively overweight, but you've got, say, a stone and a half or something that you'd like to shed.
Before I do that, I just have to tell you one thing, which is Jo talked about how she writes her books. When I write mine, the thought of writing 100,000 words is so much and so frightening that I fill one page with gobbledygook. And then I've written 1,000 words already, and then I feel better, and then I'm good to go. So we all have our own ways of writing.
All have your own methods, absolutely.
To go back to your question, to be eligible to get these jabs on the NHS through your GP, at the moment you have to have a BMI of over 40 and 4 associated health conditions. That means that there will be lots and lots, millions of people who are eligible according to the licensing of these medications, but are not eligible on the NHS yet, because the NHS is going for the people in the greatest need first and then working their way down. So for most of those people who will be getting them from online pharmacies or privately or various other places, they will still have a BMI of over 30 or of over 28 with a health condition. And as we've said before, that situation is extremely different to somebody with a BMI of 25 and a half, or even within the healthy range who is taking them. And at that point, that becomes inappropriate. Now, and we have to weigh up the risks and the benefits in every single situation. You mentioned a couple of them before. You mentioned things about hair loss and muscle loss and changes to your skin. And actually, what we know is that that is the impact of losing weight rapidly, not necessarily of the medicines themselves.
Good point.
So if you have bariatric surgery, or if you, I don't know, you have a surgery that means for another reason and you don't eat for a period of time, or you're on an extraordinarily restrictive diet and you lose weight very rapidly, that will affect your muscle mass, that will affect your hair, that will affect your skin, that might cause the same Ozempic face type issue. And so we're attributing a lot of these things to the medicines, but actually it's due to the weight loss itself that is causing the issue there.
And so what about these other conditions that were mentioned in the Daily Mail today? For example, the bone thinning or lack of density and, pancreatitis, which we've heard something about. What about those kinds of things? And also Stephen Fry just saying, God, I felt so terribly sick. I was so nauseous. I just couldn't stand it. He was losing weight, but life wasn't worth living. He felt so ill.
Gastrointestinal side effects, which can be tummy pain, nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea, do occur. And they actually they're more common at the beginning when you take them, and every time we increase the dose. And then the body sometimes will get used to it. But we have to weigh up whether or not that side effect is something that you can tolerate. Is it mild? Is it moderate? Is it severe? Can you tolerate it? Are you prepared to tolerate it versus the potential benefits? And when we're talking about half a stone versus 20 stone, what you might be willing to put up with, or what might be sort of reasonable, is very, very different. In terms of loss of muscle mass, bone mass, there are things that we can absolutely do to stop that happening. And that is, you've got to move your body. And you've got to move your body irrespective of what size it is. And it has health benefits irrespective of what size it is. Every time that you put your foot on the ground, there is micro trauma up to those bones that encourages your bones to set down new bone. Every time that you, lift a can of baked beans, you do a bicep curl, the muscle is pulling against the bone and again causing that micro trauma that encourages not only new muscle development but new bone strength as well. So whilst you are on these injections or not, or dieting or not, it is not enough to just sort of think we'll do that and done. We have to focus on the food that we're putting in and ensuring that we are doing the best that we can to maintain muscle mass and bone mass, and that is exercise too.
Let's go to Barbara in Cheshire. Barbara, what do you think? Hello, nice to hear from you.
Hi, love. I've been on before. I've been on it since November.
Ah, yes.
I've now lost 7 stone because I needed to because of my diabetes.
Fabulous.
I feel sorry for the people who are like me who can't get on it, you know what I mean, through the NHS and can't afford to be on it because it's fab. I didn't have any side effects whatsoever when I started. The only side effects I've actually got now is I can't stop my fingernails from growing and I can't stop my hair from growing. And it's just growing longer and thicker all the time.
Oh my gosh, you're the first person I've heard say that. Everyone says that they lose their hair and it's not good for the hair. You're saying your hair's even better and thicker than before, Barbara. That's amazing.
It's fab. I said, my daughter went, I can't believe how thick and long your hair is growing. And when I've told my diabetic nurse, she went, that's the first time I've ever, and she noticed it straight away.
Literally, it's the first time I've heard this. This is amazing. So really, you're 7 stone lighter, your hair's thick and seductive and glorious, your nails look like Barbara Streisand's. Everything, you've got everything going for you, Barbara, everything.
Yep. And because I'm in a wheelchair, it was hard for me to exercise, so I'm doing chair exercises. I've got rid of the flabby, loose skin, and it's great. But if the people are then taking it just to get in a bikini, I mean, I'd love to get a bikini on my leg, never mind my body, you know, but that's up to them. But it is brilliant for people like me who are diabetic.
It's fabulous. Let me ask you something, Barbara. Have you got more weight still to lose or have you got down to your goal weight?
Yeah, well, I only started in November. I've not gone, I'm only on 5 milligrams. My diabetic nurse wants me to stay on that till this November, and then I will go up a dose if my tests are okay. But I would love to lose the same again. And then I'll be half the size that I actually were. And then I probably will be able to get in a bikini.
Gosh, Barbara, very best of luck with it. I hope you do. And it all sounds as if it's going brilliantly well for you. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's talk to Jack in London. Jack, what do you reckon?
I think there's nothing wrong with taking it to look good. I started taking it about a month ago. I started taking Mounjaro.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't actually lost any weight yet, but I think that was because I was on too low a dose, but I've just ordered the 5 milligrams, but I think the reason why it's good is because it helps to reduce cravings, and I think that helps with people who are very overweight. Reducing the cravings helps you to stick to your diet.
Well, exactly.
You know,
but Jack, have you decided to do this independently, or have you done this through a GP, or how have you got hold of the stuff?
My BMI isn't quite big enough. It has to be 40 and above. My BMI is 39.
Right.
So I've got it privately. I actually got it. Well, I won't mention the name, but I got it online from a well-known supermarket.
Okay.
But I'm hopeful it'll help me because you hear about people that are on it talk about how it like they say it turns off the food noise.
That's exactly what they say. Have you noticed that happening to you since you started taking it?
Well, I was on the 2.5 milligrams, and yes, it did. But like I say, it wore off. You see, so and apparently, when you start, some people do need the higher dose, and I think I'm probably one of them. So that hopefully, I can't wait to get started on the 5 milligrams.
Joe, can you imagine the food noise switching off? This is what they say happens. That thing that says, "I'm a biscuit, come and eat me." Those chocolate buttons that you say you bought for the grandchildren are actually still in the biscuit tin, so you could just quickly, that goes away. Apparently, you don't even hear that anymore. Must be amazing, mustn't it?
Yeah. I've never experienced a food noise.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
What about you, Sarah?
I've got one in my stomach right now. My goodness, that's all I can think about.
Imagine it stopping.
That would be heaven for me, because a lot of the time it's all temptation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're always thinking about food, dreaming about food, and then to have that noise off.
Yeah. Darryl, can you imagine it?
And that's the way, I mean, I was saying earlier about the way that food manufacturers design food to make us feel that way. That's the way that
Makes
food
you
is designed.
addicted, yeah.
Absolutely. That noise is manufactured. Having something where we can sort of bypass those food scientists who have made us addicted to their
being
food.
organic,
Yes.
natural
Absolutely,
food, because I don't get that.
That's really interesting. You don't.
No.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
I only eat one meal a day anyway. I
you?
have my dinner in the evening and I have like fruit during the day.
Gosh, love that.
Yeah.
Wow, very disciplined. I mean, that's why you look like this, isn't it? Fabulous. Let's go to Liz in Glasgow. Liz, you feel that these jabs should only be for those who really have this quite high BMI?
Yes, hi there.
Hi.
I actually feel I've actually started the skinny jabs myself. So I've actually been on. I was on 2.5 mil, and then I was on the 5 mil, but I stopped at the 5 mil because the jabs do depress your appetite. But what they actually do is you have got to exercise quite a lot for you to help lose that weight. It's not the jabs that's making you lose the weight. It's actually depressing your appetite, plus you have got to exercise. So I think it's like false economy. People are thinking they're getting these jabs and it's the jabs that's making them thin. That's not the case. You've got to change your diet and also exercise too.
But you're still on them now, are you? How much weight have you lost?
I've actually lost a stone, but I've actually lost a stone, but I was meant to go up to the 7.5 mil, but I didn't. So I'm quite happy just to stop the jabs and just diet and kind of watch what I'm eating and exercise too. And
So
I'm quite
have you
happy
not
for-
got much more to lose? Did you get on them because you just wanted to lose a small amount of weight before the
Well-
summer? Something like that?
Yes, well, my BMI was 33 and I was a wee bit heavy for my height and age.
Only a
So
wee
that's
bit,
why-
though, as you say. Only a wee bit heavy, not very heavy.
No, I wasn't, no.
No.
But
And so
it's
now are you down to the weight you've always dreamed of being?
Well, I would like to lose another stone, but apart from that, I feel I can do it without the jabs.
Okay, well, good luck. And I wouldn't mind you phoning again and telling me how it goes. I'd like to hear from you in about 6 weeks and see whether you kept the weight off, whether it's crept back on again, or whether you've done that amazing thing and shed an extra stone all on your own. Liz, good luck with that. Let's talk to Helen in the West Midlands. Helen, you're on the jabs as well. How's it going with you?
Yeah, all right, Vanessa. I was on your show a couple of weeks ago when you were talking about it. I've lost 2 stone in 3 months, but I have chronic illnesses. I'm disabled. I've got diabetes, etc. I just don't understand that how people are getting hold of these jabs that aren't at the BMI that is necessary to get them, because you can't go to the doctor if you're obese to get them unless you've got 4 out of 5 of the criteria.
Yes.
And my daughter takes them and she has them privately, and when she phones them up once a week, she has to do FaceTime with them and show them the scales when she weighs herself to prove that she's a certain weight. So I can't understand. I mean, I know 3 or 4 people that's in a size 10 or 12 that's taking these fat jabs. And I just don't understand why.
And how do you feel about that? Do you think they shouldn't be doing it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And why do you feel
not
that?
just for the health aspects, but, for people, initially, these were brought in for people with diabetes. Yeah. And there was a time where people with diabetes couldn't actually get hold of them because there was people buying them privately and they ran out.
I mean, fortunately, they do seem to have got the supply chain up and running, don't they, now, for people who need them. How much has your daughter got to lose still, Helen?
My daughter's lost 2 stone as well, but she's got a good 15 stone to lose.
Oh, wow, OK. Well, good luck with that. That's so
she looks fantastic just by losing the 2 stone, and her persona's changed, her attitude's changed. So, all good for people that need them, that's got a large BMI. But I don't agree with the slimmer people taking them. There was a lady on the TV this morning, and she was probably a size 14, 16, and she'd been on them for 3 years. And I think, well, why are you on them? You obviously don't need them. You're thin enough.
Well, maybe she's scared that if she
So
stops taking them, you see, Helen, she's probably worried that if she stops taking them, then the whole thing will just all start up again and the food noise will start again and she'll be eating too much.
Apparently not. She'd been on and off them over 3 years.
Oh, I see.
So if she hadn't been on them continuously, she'd been on them, off them, on them, off them. And as I say, that was on TV breakfast show this morning.
Right. Well, listen, good luck to you and to your daughter too. But Darryl, I think what you said is the key thing about how you feel, and Helen's daughter's already feeling better and looking better.
That was so interesting, wasn't it, to hear her talk about the confidence that she'd gained from losing that weight and how she... And I do think, it literally is, that's a clinical issue, isn't it? How you feel about yourself.
Yeah, mindset.
Is and it can become, we've got a big mental health crisis in this country that we're grappling with. We also have an obesity issue in this country. We very rarely get these silver bullets, do we? And it's perhaps not entirely a silver bullet. There are obviously lots of different complications we're still working out. But if we can solve perhaps two of those big problems through this, it feels like a great opportunity.
I know. I met up with two friends last week. One I haven't seen for about a year. Another one I haven't seen for about 6 months. Honestly, they were, if you'd say they were a shadow of their former selves, they were kind of like a fragment of their former selves. They were so much slimmer than I've ever seen them in a lifetime of being friendly with them. And I didn't know, shall I mention it? Shouldn't I mention it? Should I say, is it one of the jabs? Should I pretend I hadn't noticed? What's the polite thing to do? We better do a show on that. What's the polite thing to say or not to say? But really, they look so incredibly different from how they used to look. It was really, so by the time it was the second one, I said, Ozempic? I thought, if she hates me, what am I going to do? She went, she said, it's just marvellous. Wow. And she said exactly what Dame Jenny Murray was on this show, sitting where you are, Joe, and she said, I'm never coming off it as long as I live. And that's what my pal said, same thing, never coming off it. She said, it's been transformative, spent my whole life battling it. Now look at me. I could hardly look at her, I could hardly see her. She was about the size of a pipe cleaner. She totally disappeared. Crazy. It was absolutely amazing.